All right, everyone, back again to talk a little bit about everybody's favorite topic, home inspections. The home inspection, to be really frank, is one of the most challenging parts of the process for most sellers. And this is the reason why. It is the place that most buyers may actually terminate the transaction. I would say about 80% of the time, our deals will end during the course of an inspection. Usually, when an inspection ends, there are some pretty substantial reasons, but that's not always the case either. So first of all, let's talk about how Tennessee contracts view inspections. The buyer is entitled to what's known as a self-inspection, meaning they can come in, evaluate the house themselves. If they find a material defect they are not satisfied with, then they can terminate immediately and receive their earnest money back. However, the majority of buyers will use a licensed home inspector or a general contractor to do their home inspections. The home inspector will schedule through our showing service or through us to do the inspection at your property. Typically, that's going to take anywhere from 2 to 4 hours depending on the size of the home. Most buyers will also try to schedule the pest inspection, which will look for wood-destroying pests at the same time. However, that may be on a different day during their inspection time frame. The home inspector will operate the components in your property. They will not do anything invasive like break in a wall or do anything crazy. They're there to evaluate the entirety of the home, what's working, what's not working. The next day, they usually will provide a report to the buyer and their agent. We do not get a copy of that report. We can request a copy of that report during the negotiations, but it will not be sent to you automatically. After the buyer has evaluated the inspection, they have decisions to make. Will they accept the property as is? Will they terminate? Or will they negotiate for repairs? Again, the majority of the time, people will negotiate for repairs. That is where it can get a little bit tricky. It really is up to you as the seller what you choose to repair or not. However, there are ramifications if you choose not to address certain things like high radon levels or a foundation issue or serious water damage or water intrusion. And the reason I say that there are ramifications is because the majority of buyers, if there is a health, safety, structural issue, they're not going to continue forward with your property. So there are certain things that I always advise my clients, if we don't fix it now, you're probably going to have to fix it later unless you decide to sell the house as is, which typically substantially impacts your pricing. So when you go into negotiating repairs, it's important to remember who your buyer is. If they're a first-time buyer, they may be a little more anxious about some of these items. Don't take it personally. If they ask you to clean out your dryer vent, they're not crazy. It really is a fire hazard, and they just have some concerns. They're not personally attacking the quality or the construction of your home. They just want to make sure they're comfortable with the home that they're moving into. It's really important to try and be objective when you go through the negotiation process. You don't want to ruin a deal just because you get offended that they think something is messed up or you don't think it's as substantial as they do. Once we get through the negotiations, you actually will then begin the process of making repairs. One thing in our contract that can be confusing is that negotiation period is about anywhere from 3 to 7 days long, depending on how your contract is written. Sometimes sellers think, oh my gosh, how am I supposed to negotiate in 3 days and get these repairs done? And the truth is, you're only negotiating. You do the repairs afterwards. So that's just a little bit of information about home inspections and how they work here. And just remember, preparing your house in advance as best as possible is a great way to set yourself up for success. If you'd like more information, give us a call at 865-588-3232.